All right, so the Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for around 2 months at the point of recording this video. It's sold, I don't know, 6 million copies in the first month. Who knows how many now? So you might be asking yourself, why would I put failure on the thumbnail of this video then? Well, while the Nintendo Switch has sold very well, there is still one tiny little problem that we don't have an answer to yet, and that is, when are we getting games for this system? Now, we've got some at launch, we've got enough to hold us over for right now, but they showed us a lot more when they first showed us this thing, and we don't know when those are coming out. So today, what I really want to talk about is the Nintendo Switch 2 being something that you need to buy right now. Is that actually the case? Or could you go get another Switch and be just as happy? If you're looking to buy a Switch 2, a Switch 1, a Switch Lite, a Switch OLED, and you don't know which one you want to get, I'm going to give you all the information you're going to need in this video, and hopefully by the end of it, you will know which one is right for you and how much money you're going to have to end up forking over to get one. We're going to jump right into this stuff, and we got to pay the bills first. This video is sponsored by Savage Raven. I want to tell you about their brand new GripCase. I've got a full video on this thing on the channel if you want to check that out. But this is now the case that I've been using on my Nintendo Switch 2. It's even taking the place of my Neo Grip. It uses the same grips as the Neo Grip. I love these things. It gives the Switch a whole lot more coverage. And not only that, it also fits with the stand grip front cover. So if you don't want to put this thing in any type of other case, you're going to be good to go with just that. I'm going to leave a link down below where you can check out all of Savage Raven's stuff. They've got this grip, they've got the Neo Grip, they've got their EDC case, they've got the Max Carry case, they've got everything you need for your Nintendo Switch 2. They've even got stuff for your Switch 1 and Switch Lite if you decide to go that route after this video. Not to mention all kinds of things for all kinds of other handhelds. I'm going to give you guys a code right here, Drip Media at checkout. You're going to get 10% off. The link is down below. Click that link, use that code, get 10% off. Make sure your Switch 2 is protected and you're playing as comfortably as possible. Thank you so much to Savage Raven for sponsoring this video. All right, so the Switch 2, obviously, it's selling pretty well. As far as the sales numbers go, no, it's not a failure, but we don't have a lot of games yet. We don't have a lot of information on when these games are coming. We're gonna start with this scenario. If you are someone who's gonna be buying a Switch for the first time, if you didn't get a Lite, an OLED, the original Switch, and you're just now starting to get into the ecosystem, this part of the video is gonna be for you because there is a lot you need to know. There's definitely some different paths you can take with all of this. You don't necessarily have to go out and spend $450 on a Switch 2, especially if you're not even sure if you're going to be playing games on this thing, if you're even gonna like it. I mean, yeah, the Marios, the Zeldas, you know, those are gonna be great. We do have a lot more third-party stuff coming. We don't know exactly when, but if you're looking to buy a Switch 2, you know that's what you're gonna get. Going to the store and getting one right now is almost impossible. They are showing up in some stores, some Targets, Walmarts, randomly in more rural areas. But I'd say 90% of people can't just walk into a Walmart and buy one. If you're keeping your eye on online sites like Target, Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, there are people online that will tell you when these stocks come in. If you follow Wario64 over on Twitter, he has all the information when these things go back in stock. He posts it quick. If you're fast, you can get over there and get one. They have been staying up on site, so they're not impossible to get. But to get one of these right now, you are looking at $450. That is the entry point on a Switch 2 right now. You can pay $50 more and get it bundled in with Mario Kart. I would say if you're gonna buy a Switch 2, that's the way to go, because Mario Kart, if you don't know, Mario Kart World is $80 if you buy it on its own. It's only $50 if you get it with the bundle. So if you are dead set on getting one of these things, that's probably the way to do it. But $450 is a big investment for something that you're not even sure if you're really gonna like or if you're gonna use. If you are unsure, there are other options, but I will tell you this. Buying a regular Switch brand new right now should not be an option that you're looking at. For one, the Switch OLED has just increased in price, not decreased, increased in price up to $400. It was $350 when it first came out. Nintendo just announced that they are raising their prices of all the original Switch 1 lineup of systems, not the Switch 2. For now, it's gonna stay at $450. But the OLED is up to $400. The original Switch is now $340, and the Switch Lite, I believe, went up to $230. Now, the Switch Lite used to be $200. The original Switch was $300. So these price increases, I don't think buying a brand new Switch that's not a Switch 2 right now is a very good idea. A Lite, yeah, I think maybe you could get away with it if you're still looking into what you want to do with all this. a Lite might be the way to go, and it might actually be the right move for you to make. I'll tell you why in just a minute. But another thing you need to think about is the games that are already on the Switch 1. There are some very, very high quality games on the Switch 1, and the library is huge. All of those also work on the Switch 2. So if you're thinking about getting maybe a Switch Lite now, upgrading to a Switch 2 later, anything you buy on the Switch 1 is going to go over to the Switch 2. You're going to be able to play it exactly the same or better. Nintendo did put out a list of games that have actual upgrades that you do not have to pay for. There are some games like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is about to release again. Mario Party Jamboree, there's a few that have Switch 2 upgrades. They're called Switch 2 editions. Those you do have to pay more for if you have the game already though. Some of them are $10 updates, some of them are $20 updates depending on the game. The two Zeldas are only $10 and they come with the online subscription if you end up getting that. The other two games are $20 upgrades if you already have the game. But check the other list of games. They do look better, they run better on the Switch, but not everything is going to be better. Some things play exactly how they did on the Switch 1. So if you decide to go with a Switch 1 of any kind, you are going to be able to build your library and take it with you when you decide to finally get a Switch 2. So that takes me to where I think you should probably be looking for a Switch if you're not going to get a Switch 2. I don't think you should buy one new unless it's a Lite. If you can find a Lite at Walmart and you don't mind paying the extra 30 bucks, go ahead and pick it up. It's brand new. You know, you're going to be able to sell it. Obviously, the price has gone up, not down, so it's not going to lose that much value, but you can still go on Facebook Marketplace right now. Places like that, places like eBay, and you can get these things for a much cheaper price, like 150 bucks. I've seen them on there for $100. A Switch Lite for 100 bucks, 150 bucks is a really good deal. I would recommend going with Facebook Marketplace just because at that point you can meet up with them, check and make sure that the sticks do work, because the old Switches do have a lot of drift problems with the sticks. We don't see that right now with the Switch 2, but that could also happen. We don't know. But being able to meet up with somebody, actually hold the thing in hand if it's used, check it out, make sure everything works, is probably your best bet. Obviously, you want to be careful if you're meeting people. Make sure it's in a public place. Definitely be careful with all that, but that is what I would probably do if I was trying to get into this ecosystem right now. I feel like the Switch 1 has so many games, and you can really get a good idea of what you're going to be getting into with the Switch 2. And honestly, as of right now, you're not really missing out on all that much. And I guess that takes me to the next part of this video. If you are somebody with a Switch 1, a Switch OLED, a Switch Lite, that's looking to upgrade to a Switch 2, is that something you even need to worry about right now? My answer to that question is yes and no. It really depends, but I feel like the biggest problem with the Switch 2 and why I kind of made the thumbnail the way I made it is they have kind of failed us at this point. Now, this is pretty early. We're 2 months in, a little over 2 months. We don't know when anything is coming out. We've got a few launch games. We've got Cyberpunk. We've got the new version of Hogwarts Legacy, which is very good and far better than the Switch 1 version. We've got the upgraded versions of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Mario Party Jamboree just came out, but I hear that's not all that great. God, what do we even have? Just looking at the eShop quickly here, I mean, we've got, of course, Mario Kart World. That was a launch game. Madden just came out. We have Split Fiction, which looks pretty good. Street Fighter 6 plays very well on the system. But aside from a few other games that I can't really remember off the top of my head right now, every other game that is tied to a Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 already works or will work on a Switch 1. Some of these games will even work on the Switch 1. Not Mario Kart, but there are still a ton of games coming out for the Switch 1. There's third-party games, there's games from Nintendo still planned for the Switch 1. In the last Direct we got, it was a partner Direct. There were still Switch 1 games being announced. And in the Indie Showcase, we saw a lot of Switch 1 games as well. We know Nintendo is putting out Metroid Prime 4 and the new Pokemon game on the Switch 1 as well as the Switch 2. So besides a few games here and there, as of right now, there's not a whole lot of games you're going to be missing out on unless you are really dead set on playing the new Mario Kart, which is good, but there are some problems with it as well. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is great, and there's a ton of people still playing that game. You're not going to have any problems finding people to play online. Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, obviously both on the Switch 1. So you have a ton of options. You don't necessarily have to jump to a Switch 2 right now if you don't have the money. You can wait. We have a lot of games that Nintendo has shown us from third parties and from themselves that we don't have dates for right now, and we're already almost at the end of this year, so I don't see a lot of these games coming out this year. I think, honestly, if you look at the landscape right now, the way that things are, not knowing what is going to be coming out the rest of this year, I think it honestly may be better right now to maybe just spend $150 on a Switch Lite that you can get used. Even $230 on a brand new Switch Lite, I don't think is a bad idea. And it gives you an idea of what you're gonna be getting into if that's something that you want to start looking into. If you already have a Switch OLED especially, I don't think upgrading right now is totally necessary. Now, if you're watching this video and you're just trying to find someone out there to tell you that you need to go buy one, by all means, go buy a Switch 2 if you can find one. If you think you need it, don't let anybody on the internet tell you otherwise. If you want it, it's your money. Go spend it on a Switch 2. But in my opinion, I think if you are having questions about it, I think it's totally fine to wait right now. I don't think there's any hurry. Maybe, you know, the next time we do this in about 6 months, things will change. But right now, I don't see the hurry to get the Switch 2. It's really nice. I love the way it's built. I love the functionality. The screen is obviously better. It has a lot more power than the original Switch. But the problem is there's just not that much stuff taking advantage of that power at the moment. But that is gonna be all I have for this video. I wanna thank Savage Raven for sponsoring this video. Again, you can check the links down below. Use code DRIPMedia to get 10% off your order. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, but that's gonna do it for this one, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, make sure you are subscribed, click on one of these videos right here. If you wanna see more about the Savage Raven products, we'll see you in the next one.